Hari Om. Let us start from where we left, and that was a very beautiful verse which I was reading. Verse number 9. Chitre niveshya parikalpita sattvayoga rupochayena manasa vidhina kritano stri ratna srishtirapara pratibhati same dhatur vibhutva manuchintya vapushcha tasyaha. So the commentator here, we discussed this verse totally last time, but there is one thing which I left out because of the time and all. So there is another possibility that there are, 2-3 possibilities which have been given here by Kalidasa, by Dushyanta, by describing Shakuntala, how flawless is her beauty, right? And for that he says, maybe, like a painter, she was first put on a canvas, and then the painter will see at his own kriti from different angles and do some strokes here and there, and till he gets satisfied, he will work on that. So till the Vidhata got satisfied, he was creating this Vapu of Shakuntala. That is option number 1. Second was Rupochayana. Whatever is beautiful in the entire world, all that was collected, compiled. Rupochaya, Chaya is Rashi. So that Rupa Rashi, then, and that Rupa Rashi, you get a Mrid Rashi, okay, Mrittika Rashi, and give it a shape, but your hands give that shape. Here, Manasa Kritano, so that Sparsha will not malign her, and therefore that Rupochaya, and that Rupochaya was given a female figure, and that too by mind. So, no Hasta Sparsha. That was the second option. But then, according to the commentators, there could be the third one. When the third and the fourth line are read in Vyatyasa, Dhatuhu vibhutva manuchintya vapushcha tasyaha. So Dushyanta says these could be the two options, but I feel vapushcha tasyaha, anuchintya, thinking of her vapu, and dhatuhu vibhutvam, and the omnipresence and all pervasiveness. He can do anything. Dhata, Vidhata, the creator is capable of doing anything. So dhatuhu vibhutvam tasyaha vapushcha anuchintya. What I feel? This is Stri Ratna Srishtirapara Pratibhati Same. This is another totally new creation, nothing to do with that canvas and nothing to do even with the Rupochaya. This is totally different. Apara, na para vidyate yasyaha sa apara. So, she is one without the second, unparalleled beauty, So, this could be the third meaning, okay. So, these are the different meanings. And then Vidushaka says, oh, if this is so, if she is so beautiful, Pratyadeshaha idanim Rupavatinam, that means she has thrown back all other beautiful ladies behind her, right? Pratyadeshaha Rupagarvitayaha Shriyaha in Vikramorvashiyam, while describing Urvashi also. So Pratyadesha is throwing back, returning. Prati is re. So returning, throwing back. Idam chame manasi vartate, and then Raja is still not, he has not come out of that mood of describing Shakuntala's flawless, blemishless beauty, and therefore now what follows is a very, 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 very beautiful verse which has been quoted by I think Vishwanatha in Sahitya Darpana as an instance of Shobha. Shobha is one of the Kavya Gunas, that is charm and beauty, okay. Shobha is beauty or charm. So this is, the verse itself is so charming, so beautiful. And when it is applicable to Shakuntala, all the more beautiful. Idanchame manasi vartate anaghratam pushpam kisalayam alunam kararuhaihi ana viddham ratnam madhucha navam anasvadita rasam Akhandam Punyanam Falamiva Tadrupam Anagham. Tadrupam Anagham Najane Bhoktaram Kamiha Upasthasyati Vidhihi. I don't know really. Vidhihi, that is the creator, the Almighty. Kam Bhoktara Rupena Upasthapyati or Upasthasyati. Who will be meant as, who is assigned the role of an enjoyer, Bhoktaram, of this particular beauty. So Vidhi must assign somebody, because all, gathi swargat padtat, lagnacha gathi. So it is all destined, right? And therefore I really don't know who Vidhi has thought about as the bhokta, the enjoyer of this beauty. How is this beauty? And then the first three lines, the first three charanas, very beautifully described. Anaghratam pushpam. It is a flower which is not yet smelled by anybody. Anaghratam. Ghajigrati is to smell, and therefore grana, that is nose, right? So anaghratam, it is not yet smelled. So this is a flower, not a kalika, not a mukula, not a bud. Okay, because her youth is blossoming, and therefore anaghratam pushpam kisalayam alunam kararuhaihi. This is as good as a kisalaya, a very tender foliage. The first, the leaves which come out, they are not green in color. They are reddish, pink, lavender. In front of my house here, in front of this webinar room, there is a Sita Ashoka. And now this Sita Ashoka has put forth blossoms. There are some Ashoka Stabaka also I can see inside hidden. But the tender foliage, it's not green. It's not even parrot green. It is really reddish, pinkish, lavenderish color. I can see that. So this is Kisalaya, very tender, very tender. If you touch, you feel, oh, this leaf will get, torn off if I touch it, So it is so delicate, so tender. So Kisalayam alunam, not plucked. By Kararuha, those which grow on your kara, that is the nails, or this is the fingers on your kara, these fingers grow up, and through your nails you just pluck the tender foliage, like this. So Kararuha is the nails. So Kisalayam alunam kararuhaihi anaviddham ratnam. This is a gem. Now she has been referred to as a gem earlier also, right? So this is a gem which is not yet perforated. When the gem gets perforated, when it is worn as a abhushana, either a kundala or a hara or a kankana, so there has to be, tala waves padave lagta. So chidra karave lagta, right? There has to be a perforation made for making it to be adorned on body. So in this way, anaviddham ratnam, so when you perforate it, for making something ornament out of that, it becomes kritrima, is it not? So anaviddham ratnam is natural. No artificiality. Nothing has been, no samskara has been done on that ratna. It is as shining from the mine, it has been taken out and it is shining and shining, but it is not worn by anybody. It is not enjoyed by anybody, not perforated so far. Anaviddham ratnam. Madhu navam anasvaditarasam. This is the new honey, freshly got honey from the beehive, which is not yet tested by anybody. Anasvaditarasam. The rasa of that, the essence of that is not yet tested by anybody. So she would be as sweet as honey, But how would you know? Nobody has tested it. She is as precious as a gem, but nobody knows because that gem has not fallen into anybody's hands so far. She is as tender as a foliage, but not cut, not plucked by anybody. So if it is plucked, then you can handle it, but it is not yet plucked by anybody, and it is a pushpa which is not yet smelt by anybody. First two lines. Then akhandam punyanam phalamiva. This tad roopamanagam, tad roopam, that beauty of hers, which is unagha. Agha is papa, agha is blemish, agha is anything which is wicked, evil, bad, devoid of all that. So all good, blemishless, faultless, flawless, that beauty of hers is like akhandam phalam punyana. This is, one who gets that beauty. It will be like getting the punya phala. Punya phala, whatever meritorious deeds you have done, whatever good things you have done, you are destined to beget the reward for that, right? So punyanam phalam, and this punya is not that, oh, I did some good thing yesterday and today I got this one. Akhandam, so you have been doing punya from days, for months, for years, for janma janmantara together. That is all collected in the form of that apurva, adrishta according to the Mimamsa, and the greatest reward of that, akhanda, uninterrupted. That means till now that adrishta, that bank balance, bank balance of that punya which is gathered there in the paraloka on your account, okay, that is called adrishta or apurva, nadrishta purvaha apurvaha. So nothing has been exhausted from that, akhanda. It is not sampurna, it is akhanda. That means nothing has been debited from that so far, and therefore how, in what quantity, what greatness, that fruit or that reward you will get, right? Akhandam punyanam phalamiva pratibha, phalamiva cha tadrupamanagham. So this is, he is describing Shakuntala. He just said tad anagham roopam. Okay, that flawless beauty. He is not describing how are her eyes, how are her cheeks, like, little reddish and pinkish thing. Her eyes are like the lotus leaf, sarasa dalayata vilochanani. Devi is described like that, Bhagavati Triambika. So no such description. Her nose is like this, her eyebrows are like the chapa, her lips are like the Indradhanu, nothing. Her teeth are like the white kunda flowers. No anga pratyanga description, right? Like we have Tanvi, Shama, Shikhari Dashana, all that. There is anga pratyanga description in the Meghaduta. Okay, Shroni, Bhara, Dalasagamana, then Nimna Nabhihi, Chakita Harini, Prekshana. All these are describing her body parts, part by part. Here, no body part, no pratyanga is described. The entire beauty is anaga. This is something like Anandavardhana, who would say in Dvanyaloka, Lavanyamivanganasu. When we say some woman, some lady is very charming, very beautiful. What is charming in her? Her eyes are charming, her teeth are charming, her ears are charming. What is her mouth, her nose? You just can't express sometimes. She's captivating. She is like having very charming. You just can't even describe what is charming in her. So her lavanya, her beauty is all pervasive. It pervades her entire body. So you can't express that she is beautiful, Lavanyavati, because her eyes are good. Because her eyes are like the dark color of the black bees and all, Nothing of the sort. Lavanya mivanganaso. As the lavanya is all pervasive throughout the body, and that's why, instead of having the anga pratyanga varnana and describing that every part is so beautiful and comparing it with some pratimana, some object of comparison, here is the description without going into the details of the body parts, yet how charming it could be. And all these are in a negative adjectives. Anaghratam, alunam, anavidham, anasvaditarasam, akhandam, anagham. 6 visheshanas, all negatives. Because positively, he is not, in affirmation or in assertive words, he cannot find words to describe her. And therefore, if there is a fault, then she is faultless. So for that, he is using all the negative adjectives here. So when it is said, anaghratam, amodasatta anena dhvanyate. You have to read the commentary of Raghava Bhatta on this. So this is something which comes in the realm of our grana, granendriya. By the way, this verse gives you, the grana, then sparsha, netra, all these jnanendriyas and how they cannot grasp her beauty. For example, anaghratam pushpam. So, our granendriyasya asamarthata anena dhvanyate. Amodasatta anena dhvanyate. Alunam, this is sparsha, the tvagindriya. Alunam, because you pluck it with your nails. Alunam, achinnam. And because it is achinna, the moment you pluck it, it gets withered out. Like when you when you take out the very delicate flowers of jasmine, not the mogra, but see zai, zui, chameli, saili, the moment you take them out and you try to do the garland, mala of that, it will wither out. On the tree, it looks so nice. So it becomes klanta, right? So the moment you pluck it, it becomes klanta. Achinnam, alunam nama achinnam, ataha aklantatvam anena dhvanyate. So sparshena aklantatvam anena dhvanyate. Then anavidham. Avidham, asamantat vedha rahitam. And that vedha is kutila also is another meaning, and therefore it is a kutila, anavidham ratnam. So this is for the netra. There is no kautilya, there is no vakrata in her saundarya. It is all ruju, it is all sarala. So there is no kutilata, no dosha. So nirdosham tasyaha rupam, anagam. Nirdosham tasyaha rupam. Then anasvadita rasam, rasanendriya, jivhendriya. Agrihita asvadam, ananubhuta rasatvam. The rasa is not experienced at all. And therefore you have, all your curiosity, how it would be. And therefore ati hridyatvam anena vyajyate. Because it is anasvadita, you are all the more eager to take the aswad of that, relish it and revel in that taste, and therefore it becomes more charming, more heart-touching. Anena atirhidyatvam dhvanyate. Then anagham rupam amlanatvam. It is not mlana, it is not withered out. Anuchishtata, it is not uchishta. Nobody has even touched her. Uchishta is jhuta, right? Ushta, ushtamashta. She is not uchishta. She is not even touched because Tapasa Kanya. Who would dare even to touch her? Right? Anena anaghatvam amlanatvam anuchishtata manodnyata anena vyajyate. Manodnyata. And therefore, tasyaha kanyabhavaha gamyate. And therefore, she is still a virgin. Kanya. She is not tested. She is not smelled. She is not plucked. Nothing, So there is a upama everywhere, okay? But she lies beyond all the upamas. She is as tender as Kisalaya, but not yet plucked. She is as fresh and blossoming and blooming like a flower, but not yet smelled. So I said, it is not a Kalika. It is not a Mukula, because Mukula will not give forth that fragrance. It's only when the flower blooms, it emits fragrance, Sugandha. And therefore, her Tarunya Gandha is coming out because she is blossoming. So, Anena Kanyatvam Vyajyate, then Mugdhatvam Vyajyate, and for the king, Paribhogya Yogyatvam. Paribhogya Yogyatvam. She is fit to be, she deserves to be enjoyed or be wedded to, married to. So, Amalam Manodnyam Rupa. Rupam aham na jane kamiha bhoktaram upasthasyati vidhi. By this, swadrishtehe agocharatvat. I cannot see anybody else. I mean, the king would like to see himself as the bhoktaram, but he is still not sure because Kulapati is away and paravashoyam janaha. Right? Shakuntala is dependent upon her father and he is away, and therefore he cannot see himself though he wishes to be as a bhokta. And therefore he says, aham na jane swadrishtehe agocharatvat etadrupa anurupa taruna srishtehe abhavat iti. This type of srishti, the very youthful srishti, is very rare to witness. And therefore, the king might have come across so many beautiful ladies, as Vidushaka told him, that Pinda Kharjura Udvejitasya Tintinyam Abhilashaha. So, Stri Ratna Paribhoginaha Tava. So, he has enjoyed so many good ladies because he is a king. But then this type of srishti is something very different. He hasn't come across, and therefore he has, the sup, the envy, the asuya for the bhokta, whosoever he may be. And there is a wishful thinking, oh, I should be her bhokta. Okay. So this is a very beautiful verse, and she is a freshly blooming flower, not yet smelt, nectar not yet tested, foliage not yet plucked, and gem not yet perforated, and reward of collected merit not yet exhausted. Because normally we have this, that Chine Punye Martyalokam Vishanti, when we go to the other world after Punya Sanchaya, then from that Punya Sanchaya only we come down. Chine Punye. That means it becomes an exhaustible treasure. But here Akhandam Punyanam, it is inexhaustible, not yet exhausted. It is wholesome, full treasure. Okay. So that is also very nice. So very beautiful verse. Anaghratam pushpam kisalayam alunam kararuhaihi anaviddham ratnam madhunavamanasvaditarasam akhandam punyanam falamiva chatadrupamanagham na jane bhoktaram kamiha upasthasyati or upasthapayishyati vidhihi. Okay. So very beautiful verse. Yeah. Vidushaka says, now Vidushaka gets confirmed of her flawless beauty, and initially he just wanted to address her as Munikanya, Tapasakanya, and your mind going for her is like a diversion in test. You just want a different test. That's what his feeling was. But now after listening to these two beautiful verses, in a description he says, Te nahi laghu paritrayatam enam bhavan. Then you please, protect her very quickly before ma kasyapi tapasvinaha ingudi taila chikkana shirshasya haste patishyati. Vidushaka in his own humorous way, she is a tapasa kanya. She will be wedded, but who she will wed? Maybe one of the shishyas of Kanava. And who are the shishyas? All the batus, the brahmacharis who are studying there and who will be entering grihastha after their samavartana ceremony. And because these are batus, they will be like bald, okay, shaven, clean shaven, and for their heads, they will be doing massage of the oil of Ingudi Taila. Ingudi is a type of wild berry. This is called a tapasa vriksha. Tapasa vriksha. Normally, in the Ingudi, we have in Ramayana also, in Ayodhya Kanda, when Rama learns about Dasharatha's demise, when Bharata comes to meet him in Ayodhya Kanda, if you remember that, then that is the first time he learns about his father's death. And then in Ingudi Pinyaka Pinda, he offers Pinda as the Jeshta Putra of Dasharatha, done by the Ingudi Pinyaka. Pinyaka is the, what is that? Ingudi fruits, you smash them and their pinyaka, their काय चोथा गर त्याचा whatever, so that becomes a pinda for you, okay. So ingudi pinyaka pinda, so there also that ingudi comes. And normally these ingudi fruits, they are broken on the stones, and therefore the stones around the hermitage become, like chikkana, oily, because the ingudi fruits are broken. Somewhere the description comes here, I think in the 6th act or somewhere in Shakuntala. I remember having read it somewhere. So in the parisara, in the environment of the hermitage, the stones will also be oily because the batus will be breaking the fruits of ingudi on those, and these batus will be applying that taila for massaging, because they are bald and they have to bear the heat of the sun and all, so they need some oil to keep them cool. So before she falls in the hand of Haste Patishyati, before she falls in the hands of some Batu who is Ingudi Taila Chikkana Shirsha, whose head has become oily because of the Ingudi Taila, Paritrayasva Ena. You go and take her hand. Otherwise, what will be her fate? You just now said, Kamiha Bhoktaram Vidhihi Samupasthasyati, maybe some Batu of Chikkana Shirsha. So before that, go and protect her, paritrayatam enam. Then the king says, Paravati khalu tatra bhavati. How can I just go and marry her, Paravati khalu tatra bhavati. Nacha sannihitaha atra gurujanaha. And her gurujana, I could have asked her father, I would have approached her father. But nacha sannihitaha atra gurujanaha. So what to do? Then Vidushaka says, okay. Now he wants to change the topic little bit. Atha bhavantamantarena kidrishaha tasyaha drishtiragaha. Okay, you cannot approach her formally, her father, and ask for her hand. But did you notice something in her? How she was looking at you when you had interaction with these girls? Because king has told everything, to Vidushaka. So, how is her drishti raga? Is there any raga? Is there any love, liking, attachment for you in her eyes? Because eyes speak a lot before the words get articulated from the mouth. It is the eyes from which the love would be indicated first before somebody commits, oh, I love you. Normally in Sanskrit language, it's not ilu ilu, I love you. Never. It has to be From both sides, there has to be some confirmation, but not so very unromantic manner, like a prosaic manner. It has to happen in a very poetic and romantic way. So, atha bhavantamantarena, as regards you, कीदृशः तस्याः दृष्टिरागः, how is her eye language, for, like we say body language, this is the eye language. What is her eye language regarding you? And then he wants to change the topic, I said, and therefore the word atha is used. Now atha, normally, atha comes as Ingudi's Hinganbet. Yeah, I knew this word, but I don't know exactly Hinganbet. Somebody has commented Hinganbet. It is called Hinganbet because I've seen in the dictionary, but I don't know what is Hinganbet. Tulitpana yeto tachani, whatever. So, I wanted to tell you more about the word atha. Just now, I saw the Shankara Bhashya for that. Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. Before coming to the class, I just saw Shankara Bhashya. And how Shankaracharya comments on that. Atha has 4 meanings, Basically, atha has 4 meanings. Atha gives you adhikara. Something, like adhikara sutra, there is some adhikara paribhasha. So, you start something and a new topic, then adhikararthe, atha is used. And Shankaracharya says, Nayam arthaha adhikararthe, kintu anantariyarthe. So, atha is used in Shankara Bhashya according to Shankaracharya is not adhikararthe, it is anantariye. Okay. So, these are the 2 meanings. The third one is mangalya suchaka. The third meaning of atha is mangalya suchaka, because it is said, ओंकारश्चाथ शब्दश्च द्वावेतौ ब्रह्मणः पुरा कंठं भित्वा विनिर्यातौ तस्मान् मांगलिकौ उभौ. There is a verse which says that pura, onkar and atha, these are the 2 words which came out kantham bhitva brahmanaha, from the Brahmaji's mouth, from the Creator's mouth. These were the first 2 words to come out, articulated sound, from Brahma's mouth, and therefore tasman mangalikau ubhau, and therefore both are regarded as mangalika, mangalya suchaka, and therefore the third meaning is mangalya suchaka. One is adhikara, the second is anantariya, the third is mangalya suchaka, and the fourth is pakshantara bodhaka. Pakshantara bodhaka, and here it is used in the sense of pakshantara bodhaka to change the topic. Oh, Gurujanaha atra asannihitaha, tatra bhavati paravati, all that is okay, but then how does she feel about you? Did she indicate any sort of, love? Was there any indication which you could grasp or gather from her looks, from her body language, from her eyes, whatever, Kidrishaha. So, Pakshantara bodhaka. Atha bhavantam antarena. Now, Raghava Bhatta on antarena has a long commentary. I am not going to read it because it is all more of grammar, and here I am here for the rasasvada of the Sahitya, and therefore I am not going into detail, but he just pointed out that antarena with atra bhavantam, dvitiya is wrong. It can't be dvitiya. It is bhavati, atra bhavati, punye. In your case, how is her Drishtiraga and all that. So, antara, antarena, dvitiya, which is used here, accusative, is ungrammatical. That is what he has commented. Anyhow, atra bhavantam antarena kidrishaha tasyaha drishtiraga. And then Raja says, Nisargadeva apragalbhaha tapasvi kanyajanaha. Nisargadeva. Nisarga swabhavadeva. It's a very, strange word, Nisarga. In Marathi, we say Nisarga for Prakritika, the natural beauty. Nisarga Varnana, we say. Nisarga is like Srishti, but in Sanskrit language, it means Srishti, but it is basically means Sheela. Sheela Sargadau. So Sheela, Swabhava. So Swabhavadeva, Nisargadeva, Nisarga Nipunaha Striyaha. That is not in the Srishti, they are by nature, innate. By their innate nature, they are Nipuna, women folks. Okay. So Nisargad eva apragalbhaha, apragalbhaha, tapasvi kanyajanaha, apragalbhaha, pragalbha is proud, bold. Apragalbha, not bold. So they are very modest. So by nature, tapasvi kanyajana, the hermit girls will be very modest. Unlike the city bred girls who are like, outspoken and very bold, and they won't hesitate in talking anything, So not like that. So these are born and brought up in the hermitage, far away from the city people, and therefore they are unaware of all these city things, the boldness of body language, the boldness of speech and all that. They are very coy, shy, bashful, very modest. And therefore, apragalbhaha tapasvi kanyajanaha tathapi. But still, she could not utter, there was not a single dialogue we saw that Shakuntala did not exchange even a single word with Dushyanta person to person. It was only Anasuya and Priyambada on behalf of her, right? But what she indicated while going, as if her she got pierced by the Darbhankura and her Valkala got stuck and all that. On that also there is another verse. But during the conversation, she was by Apanga looking at him, and she was smiling sometimes, but not directly looking at him. She would look somewhere else. When he was talking, she would look somewhere else, but it was intended for the king. So all these, like indirect manner, in the paroksha manner, how she indicated her love. Tathapitu. Though she is modest because she is a tapasvi kanya, tathapitu. Abhimukhe mayi samhritam ikshitam. When I was face to face with her, I wanted to talk to her. She withdrew her glances. She did not, aankhon se aankhein nahi milai. Okay? Char aankhein nahi hui. So, samhritam ikshanam. She withdrew her glances. Hasitam anya nimitta kritodayam. She was smiling under the pretext of something else. Anya nimitta krita udayam hasitam. So her smile, it just popped up. It was brought on her face due to some other pretext. Anya nimittodayam. Vinayavarita vritti rataha taya na vivrutaha madanaha na cha samvritaha. So Madana, the love, Madana is not here the god of love, it is love per se, the abstract feeling of love. Madanaha taya na vivrutaha, she did not display it. Nacha samvritaha, she did not even conceal it. How? Vinaya varita vritti rataha. So this Madana was Vinaya varita vritti. Because of her modesty, it was not fully displayed, not fully concealed, not fully withdrawn, and not fully exhibited or manifested by her. What would be the clear way of manifesting the love? When he is abhimukha, she would look at him. But what she did? Ikshanam samvritam. Okay? And when she wants to smile, she would smile looking at him and on his sentences, at his speech, but she would, under the pretext of something else, she would smile away quietly, coyly, So that is also not manifested. But nevertheless, there was the ikshana, she wanted to look at him, but when he looked at her, she withdrew. That means she wanted to look at him. So that is the not really Samvrita. She wanted to manifest, but not looking like this. And therefore, na vivrutaha. Na vivrutaha, na samvrutaha. So there is the love, but she didn't even very clearly, distinctly make a display of that, and nor did she try to conceal it. Oh, I don't care for you. There was no such feeling. That means the king has little hope. If she didn't care in the least for the king, she wouldn't have bothered at all. Whatever he speaks to her friends, she would have gone her own way. But when, she wanted to go and Priyambada wanted to stop her, and then when Priyambada wanted to stop her, and then she said, who are you to stop me or tell me to go? I am the master of my own things, right? So, all these things she wanted to linger behind. She wanted to stay for more time in front of the king. But she didn't want it to do on the behest of or the request of her friends or the king. Okay, and therefore her very strange way of exhibiting the love, not very openly, not very discreetly, and yet not try to conceal it as well. Vinayavarita vritti hitaya na vivruto madano na samvritaha. Now there is hasita. Hasita, the word is used. Hasya in Sanskrit Rasa Shastra, Bharata Muni talks about Shodha Hasya Rasaha. 6 types of Hasya. Shodha Hasya Rasaha. 6 types, It's not only Hasya Rasa is only one type, no. The 6 types are, if I remember, I'll just tell. Smita. Smita is just, like a smiley face. Smita. Without showing your teeth. Hasita, I'll read the Vyakhya of Hasita. Smita, Hasita, Vihasita, Upahasita, Apahasita, Atihasita. So 6 types. Smita, Hasita, Vihasita, Upahasita, Apahasita, Atihasita. So 6 types of Hasya Rasas are there, and Hasita is second. And how does Hasita is given, I'll just read it from the from this commentary, Hasitam. मातृगुप्त तल्लक्षणं मातृगुप्ते हसितस्य लक्षणं मातृगुप्ते एतादृशं हसितं विकासितकपोलान्तम् उत्फुल्लामललोचनं किञ्चित् लक्षितदन्ताग्रं हसितं तद्विदो विदुः. Hasita is described by the people who know what Hasita is. They say, Kinchit Lakshita Dantagra. The tips of the teeth are little bit visible. Kinchit Lakshita Dantagram. Then Vikasita Kapola. The cheeks are like bloomed. Vikasita Kapolantam. And Utpulla Amala Lochanam. And the eyes very clear, eyes. The eyes don't have any passion. The eyes don't have any malice or anything in them. Amala lochanam and utpulla. They are like fully bloomed petals. Utpulla amala lochanam, vikasita kapolantam, and kinchit lakshita dantagram hasitam. So that is the definition of Hasita. So he just says that when I wanted to talk to her, Abhimukhe, when I turned to her, she withdrew her glances from me, and then a smile, it just popped up, it just bloomed on her face, though apparently under the pretext of something else, Anya Nimittodayam, and thus the feeling of love. Because of her modesty, Vinaya Varita. Vinaya is modesty. Vinaya also means training. Vinaya also means training or instruction. If you remember, we have read Malavika Agnimitram last year or year before last, And Vinetru, that is the word which is used there, Vinetru for the instructor. Okay, so Vinaya also means instruction. So she is trained in that manner that you have to behave modestly and all that. So both Vinaya, Vidya Vinayena Shobhate. Many people say Vidya Vinaye na Shobhate. No. And therefore they feel arrogant, the more learned they are, some people, some learned scholars, they are very arrogant. There is nobody like me. Konyosti sadrusho maya. Like Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, Konyosti sadrusho maya. Who is there equal to me, And therefore they are arrogant. And therefore I sometimes mockingly say, Vidya vinaye na shobhate. The more learned you are avinayi. Anyhow, so Vinaya is modesty. So because of her modesty, the love was neither displayed and nor was, hidden or concealed by her. Then Vidushaka again wants to make mockery and fun of the king, and he says, what do you expect then? Huh? When she sees you, she will come and sit in your lap or what? Huh? He says, na khalu drishtamatrasya tava ankam samarohati. Do you expect her to come and sit in your lap the moment she sees you and she is in love with you? Is that what we expect? Then Raja says, Mitha prasthane. He is still, khoya sa. He is still having the reminiscences of his first meeting with Shakuntala. So whatever Vidushaka says, kuch bura nahi manta hai wo. And he just ignores because he's still in the same thought and he is, remembering that nostalgia. That nostalgia is still there, and he says, Mitha prasthane punaha shalinatayapi kamam avishkritaha bhavaha tatra bhavatya. But still, again at the time of departure, prasthane, with her friends, mithaha is sakhibhyam mithaha. So along with her friends when she departed at the end, because there was this Aranyaka Gajavrittanta, if you remember, in the end of the first act, and therefore they all got worried and they hurried to their kutiya. So mitha prasthane punaha shalinataya, because of her modesty, kamam avishkritaha bhavaha, she did manifest her feeling towards me, though with modesty. And how is it? This again is the same thing which Shakuntala did, exactly the same thing, but that was given in the prose sentences there by Kalidasa, and now here the same feeling has been Padyabadha. Darbhankurena charana kshataittya kande तन्वी स्थिता कतिचिदेव पदानि गत्वा आसीद् विवृत्त वदना च विमोचयन्ति शाखासु वल्कलमसक्तमपिद्रमाणाम्. What she did, if you remember, in the end of the first act, when all of them have started leaving, she pretends that as if some darbha has, pierced her tender food, and therefore she lingers behind to take it out. And another thing is her bark garment got, entangled in the thorny bush of Kurabaka Vritti, and she just, to dismantle that, to just remove it, that entanglement, she lingers more time there. And Vivritta Vadana, because the Sakhis are going there and Dushyanta is standing behind and her cloth is stuck there, and therefore under the pretext of releasing it from that thorny bush, she turned around and looked at him. This was all she did. Darbhankurena charanaha kshataha iti akande. Akande, kanda is avasara, and kanda also means an arrow. Kande avasare sharau. So kanda is anavasare, akasmat, achanak, suddenly. Suddenly she stopped as if it is all a pretext. Darbhankurena, not darbhena. See, every word which Kalidasa uses, if it is really Darbha, Darbha will really pierce and there will be blood, there will be some wound there. If you remember, I had told you the word, the etymology of the word Kushala, Darbha and Kusha. These are very sharp tips of blades of grass, and when you go to pluck them, they would pierce you. And therefore, Kushala means one who doesn't get wounded, not a drop of blood comes out when he plucks the Darbha or the Kusha, because they are very sharp like needle. So it is not Darbhena, it is Darbhankurena. Ankura, it's a tender. Ankura is tender. Darbha would be the ripe Darbha, which will be, really sharp like a needle. But it is Darbhankura, and because it is Ankura, it is hardly visible. Ankura, it is just coming out, the sprout coming out, and therefore it is hardly visible. So this is all described by Raghava Bhatta. Why word Ankura? Ankura is Ishadrishta or Nadrishta, and therefore Charanaha Kshataha. Of course, it is a Vyaja, it is a pretext, but there also it is Darbhankura and not Darbha, just note it. And Akande, Akasmat, Achanak, so she suddenly stopped, that because her feet got, wounded by the Darbhankura, and she stopped after what? Katichit eva padani gatva tanvi sthita. That Tanvi, that slender girl, Tanvi sthita, she stopped. Katichideva, dvitrani eva, na tri chaturani padani, Raghava Bhatta. Not 3-4 steps, only 1 or 2 steps. Katichid eva, avadharanarthe. Only a few, that is not more. So it is not a bahuvachana. Only 1 or 2, or at the most 3. Okay. So dvitrani eva, na chaturani va, chatuh panchava. Katichiteva padani gatva tanvi sthita. So that was one posture that she wanted to linger behind, to see the king. Then asit vivruttavadana. Then she turned her face towards me, doing what? Asakhtamapi valkalam kutra drumanam shakhasu asakhtamapi valkalam mochayanti vivruttavadana sthita. Drumanam shakhasu. Drumanam, plural. Shakhasu, plural. So her garment got entangled in so many branches of so many trees. Bahuvachana, why Bahuvachana is used? So that, if that pallu like thing, if it gets stuck in the thorny thing, from one thorny bush you release it, it will be stuck in some other. So it will be, like 2, 3, 4, like. But here, there is one mistake which Kalidasa did, and that is the Kurabaka Vritti, which was earlier mentioned in the first act. It is a kshupa, it's a bush. And here he has mentioned Druma. Drumanam Shakhasu. So as if her pallu aisa upar gaya hai, like through wind and Shakhasu lagna. So this doesn't really much matter because he's a love-stricken king and he won't remember all those things now. So he just remembers that her cloth got entangled in the bushes or in the branches of the trees, and under the pretext of releasing that, she stood, her face turned towards me. So what is more important is Druma and Shakha is immaterial. What is important? Vivrutta vadana sthita tanvi katichideva padani gatva. That is important. And that is why after going only a 2-3 steps, she stopped, and not only stopped, but she turned her face under the pretext of releasing her pallu from the thorny bushes. And this is the way, this is the manner in which though through modesty, she did manifest her bhav, her feeling towards me. So the king has some hope. Okay. Then Vidushaka says, Te nahi grihita patheyo bhava. Then you go and do your patheya, pathi sadhu, pathi yogyam, that which serves good, that which helps on the way. That is bhook ladu, tahan ladu, we say in Marathi. So something, patheya, something to eat en route on the way. You carry some dry fruits, some khakra, something, that is your patheya when you go on travel. Because if you don't get anything, at least you could have something which you are carrying with you. So grihita patheyo bhava, shidori bandhata. That means start doing your work on proceeding further with this, Tenahi, because she has also manifested her love towards you, though not verbally, through her body language. Okay? Bhavaha. So her bhava, and kritam tvaya upavanam tapovanam iti pashyami. I now see that tapovana has been turned into upavana by you. Now here it is Vyatyasa, the Uddeshya and Videya are mentioned one after the other. The Uddeshya and Videya order should be changed. When you read Upavanam Tapovanam iti pashyami, Upavana comes first, Tapovana should be coming first. So you have made that Tapovana, you have transformed that Tapovana into Upavana. Okay? So Uddeshya Videya Bhave Vyatyayodhneya. That is, see, small things also, the commentators have commentary upon. They don't miss out this order of the words as well, how that order should be. So, kritam tvaya tapovanam upavanam iti pashyami. Now you are all set to make the tapovana as upavana, your pleasure garden. So that's what I see now, because she has also exhibited her love and you are also deeply in love with her. Then why are you stopping? Go ahead. Sakhe, tapasvibhihi kaishchit parijñatosmi. I have been recognized as a king by some of the tapasvis there. Chintaya tavat kena apadeshena punaha ashrama padam gacchamaha. Under what pretext can I go there in the ashrama? I just can't go to see her. I just can't go to, because her father is not here, otherwise I would have gone. Asannihitaha atra gurujanaha. And therefore, under what pretext? Kena apadeshena punaha ashrama padam gacchamaha. He doesn't say gacchami. He wants to take Vidushaka with him. So when can we both go together, We all go together in the ashrama. Chintaya, just think, because I have been recognized as a king now. So how can I go there, as a king? Should I go? What is the way in which I can approach? Kaha aparaha apadeshaha yushmakam radnyam nivara shashthabhagam asmakam upaharantu iti. What else pretext do you want? You are a king, and as a king, you are entitled for 1/6 of the produce. And what do they produce? In the ashrama, they produce a low variety of rice, nivara. Go and say that I have come here to collect the nivara shashthabhaga. We'll see it next time, nivara shashthabhaga. So, I hope you enjoyed the anagratam pushpam and Kisalayamalunam Kararuhaihi. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.